is a research line which lies within the universal accessibility. Its main focus is the design of accessible spaces or adapting the existing ones around the person, and uses the space support system as the main building and environment element. This model, my model, for designing accessible spaces for the cognitive spectrum, is a unique research in this area. The model is developed through the principles and components for the best design in environments and architecture. From there, the model develops the indicators to obtain the cognitive accessibility index. Through the application of the model, space becomes a support system that benefits all people, facilitating their mobility, orientation, and autonomy. People are no longer subject to the excess of signaling with written text. As the Disability People Convention 2006 established, the space becomes a support system. Also, it takes into account the diversity of features of cognitive spectrum, people with intellectual and cognitive disabilities, the elderly, the infants, and other people with difficulties in space orientation. The general objective of the model is cognitive space security, improvement of the quality of life, the autonomy of persons, and their inclusion through a greater and better orientation and performance in all areas of public and private use. The specific objective is sequential system of support, development and implementation of best practices of new design and evaluation of existing building, creation of a sequential system of support for cognitive accessibility. This system is based on the space topological organization, order, continuity, contiguity, separation, and zoning. And the most important, space should talk and communicate with people. This is the structure of the model. The formulation of the model is based on an extensive research carried out with the use of theoretical proposals and on-site implementation and the necessary and determinant participation and experience of real users with intellectual disabilities. The theoretical and conceptual development of the model is continuously adapted through easy reading format to train users as evaluators. Where does the theoretical models come from? Architectural and urban paradigm through time, perception, cognition, the cerebral GPS, and cognitive functioning, orientation, information, improved memories, attention system, how the mind acts among all the space's difficulties, visual effect, and memory, the role of visual perception, form, dimension, semantic, colors, illumination, distance. The participatory model comes from the need to include always people with impairments, always. The theoretical model is in continuous adaptation through easy reading format to improve the understanding and empowerment of evaluators. What is necessary to solve out? The cognitive space insecurity that limits or prevents the autonomy of person is due to, first, the labyrinth effect in the conception of the main design of surrounding and building is the generating factor of disorientation. Second, fractures in the space sequences that give origin to crossroads. Third, absence of focus centers. Fourth, excess of messages that difficult the perception of what is high priority to be able to understand and to be orientated. Absence of multisensorial references in absence of multisensorial references. The keys are The keys are in the model as follows. These three blue, parts in the graph develop the cognitive accessibility indicators. First on the left, the contents, for example, furniture, the table, the chairs, And information, for example, should be clear, without excesses, without physical and perception barriers to facilitate space, attention, and understanding. The most important, the second in the middle, the space organization sequence. It represents the space system of support. And the third on the right, it represents complementary multigraph references. And this is my work. These are the biggest work, the 16 cognitive accessibility indicators, according to our model and methodology, the inclusive methodology. From there, accessible circuit, focus center, zoning reference, clear semantic, etc., the model develops the cognitive accessibility index. Spaces should talk to people, but only the correct observation of people's behaviors can lead the correct design. Every space must represent what it really is. If we, the architects, design accessible, comprehensible, and friendly spaces, perhaps our society will be more accessible, understandable, and friendly. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
I have 6 publications. They are here, only in Spanish, and free.
Thank you very much, Berta.
Thank you.
Thank you for respecting the time very much.
Thank you.